Have you ever wondered what exactly a title policy is or why it's so important? What steps happen behind the scenes to ensure your home is yours, free and clear? Today's guest is here to explain it all. Let's get to it. Hey there. Welcome to Your Real Estate Mama. I'm Jan Scott, and I'm here to help you navigate the ups and downs of buying or selling a home. I've been wrangling the real estate market for over 35 years, and trust me, with all this gray hair comes a whole lot of wisdom. I'm excited to share tips, a little humor, and plenty of encouragement to make your journey easier. Whether you're new or a regular, I'm so glad you're here. Follow the show for new episodes every week, and together we'll grow and help even more folks. Today, we're diving into one of the most exciting and sometimes nerve-wracking moments in a home buying journey, closing day. I'm thrilled to have a true expert with us today, someone who knows everything there is to know about what happens behind the scenes when we finally get that long-awaited clear to close. We're talking with a closing expert who's going to break down what title companies and closing attorneys are really up to as they prepare for our big day. Have you ever wondered what exactly a title policy is or why it's so important? What steps happen behind the scenes to ensure your home is yours, free and clear? Today's guest is here to explain it all. Today I have with me Traci Newby. Traci is with Anchor Title, and Traci and I go back a long way. We both used to live in North Alabama. She, like me, decided to move down here to this beautiful Alabama Gulf Coast, and she has worked both in Alabama and Tennessee in the real estate title industry for 25 plus years, Traci. Welcome. She has 3 kids, and she lives down here, and it's just amazing to get to work with her again. Today, we're going to start with a very basic question. A lawyer comes in to closing. All we see is a big stack of papers when we go to closing, and we're sitting there and he's flipping through asking us to sign. And one of those is a very important paper. It's called a title. Mm-hmm. Can you explain to the listeners today a little bit about what happens once the lender requests a title on a certain property that's under contract?
So we order the title search, and an abstractor either goes to the courthouse or goes online. Some counties, their documents are online, and basically does a title search. And that means that they pull every deed, every mortgage, every lien, anything that is against the seller or the buyer or against the property. They will pull it, they'll compile it, and then they send it to us, and then it goes to our underwriting. And our underwriter is the one that looks over the title, and if there's anything that needs to be corrected, if there's anything that, needs to be like payoffs ordered, ordering HOA information, we get a commitment, and the commitment is basically our blueprint. We get that, and it tells us exactly what we have to clear in the requirements before we can get to the closing table. And so we go off that commitment, and then after that, we send it to the lender, and then we get ready to close.
So there's a lot of work that goes behind the scenes to get to that closing table that day. In a perfect world, everything is clear, and there's no problems, and you sign and go to closing, and you have clear title on your home. But we all know we don't live in a perfect world.
That is correct.
So tell me what some of the clouds that maybe have come up on titles that you have found over the years.
Title insurance, it protects us against claims or defects, and you only have to pay for it once. But defects are things such as like a person claiming ownership. Say it was an estate that sold the property, and I've had this happen, and 2 of the children said they were the only 2 children. And then after closing, we had a 3rd child that nobody knew about. So it would protect you against that, improperly recorded documents, fraud, which, we hear so much about now, forgery, liens, encroachments, and easements are other things that sometimes will cause issues.
That reminds me, I go way back on this story. My good teacher up in North Alabama, Everett Brooks, somebody got a knock on their door one day, and they came to the door, opened it, and there stood a gentleman, and he said, I own this property. I have the title and the deed here. You need to make plans to vacate the property. So, of course, the guy goes to the attorney the next day and starts researching it, and come to find out the title company had missed something way back in the
chain of title.
And, they had to vacate the property.
Mm-hmm.
And so for this reason, all of the owner's title insurance and all of the lender's title insurance policies have come with new conditions and stuff. Can you kind of explain to us the difference between owner's title policy and a lender's title policy?
Yes. An owner's title policy protects the owner, the person purchasing it, from the time they bought it backwards. It doesn't protect the future. It's backwards. Lender's policy is the same thing, but it protects the lender against any claims or defects.
I have also recently heard that there are a fraud going on now with people claiming that they own the property. Mm-hmm. They're actually changing that. Have you had that happen? Has that come up in any of your searches yet?
That has not happened, but we have seen a lot of fraud in the industry, and it seems like they come up with something new pretty much every day.
Yeah. Just use that smartness for good, then I think that would be great. Let's talk about some things that I didn't know about until I got down here close to the condo, the beach area, about Alabama withholding tax when the owner is non-residents, and this is either a second home or maybe they have it in investment property. Alabama charges a tax. Can you tell us about the Alabama withholding tax, how that works?
Yes. So there is an income tax withholding that Alabama collects from non-residents, and it is based on the buyer, not the seller, because if it's not paid, they're going after the buyer. So if the buyer is an individual, then the tax is 3%. If the buyer is a corporation, LLC, or a trust, it's 4% of the gain. So they have to fill out what's called a seller's affidavit and affidavit of gain, and they have to fill that out, and they have to put the purchase price, they have to put any improvements, what they paid for it, and then any depreciation, and then we put the amount that they're paying in closing costs, and you subtract all those from the purchase price, and then you get what is going to be calculated with either 3 or 4%.
That's just something that we need to make sure that we tell all of our sellers that do not reside in the state of Alabama that has a property here when they get ready to sell.
Yes.
Now, let's shift gears a little bit, and this is something I'm still learning about. August of this year, there was a big talk about Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, we affectionately call FinCEN. That's the shortage for that. It announced a final rule that's designated to combat and deter money laundering by increasing transparency in the U.S. residential real estate sector. Now, tell us a little bit about this rule, because I'm still learning on this rule too. So, Traci, I need you to help me on this.
I mean, I'm sure there will be some changes, to the rule, before it's enacted December 1st of 2025. But basically, on any cash transaction or a transaction that has a lender that is like hard money loans, like an individual, not a regular, lending institution that reports to FinCEN. So cash transaction, if the buyer is an entity, meaning like a corporation or an LLC, or if they are a trust, we have to report them to FinCEN on those type of transactions. So the point in it that I'm trying to make sure that people know is if you, do a lot of real estate and you have an LLC or a trust, and you're going to need to register with FinCEN and get a FinCEN identifying number. because we will require it at closing.
The government wants to make sure that that money is legitimate, honest, and correctly made and put in the right place to keep money laundering down.
Right. And, keeping with, the transparency of corporations.
There's another new thing that I'm learning about, too. It's called FERPA.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Can you tell me what that stands for and what that is?
That is Foreign Investment in Real Property Tax Act. So if you are not a U.S. resident, then we have to withhold 15% based on the contract price. We will have to, any foreign seller, we have to withhold that and report it.
Okay.
It's trying to keep down on foreign corporations, foreign individuals buying property here and then selling it for a gain and not paying any tax on it.
That sounds like another good rule, too.
Yes.
I like. Anything else that we need to know that if my listeners are very green, I kind of need it on a very easy, simple level to understand. Is there anything else that you can share with us about the title company's job and what they do and what they need to know?
One thing is fraud is rampant throughout the entire country. So never send a wire without verifying with your title company, and don't call the phone number that you receive in an email. Call the number that you've been given by either your real estate agent or your loan officer, or you look up yourself, through Google or some, search service. Seller impersonation, where people are impersonating sellers, that has been pretty bad. And 1 in 4 title companies that lost money was not able to retrieve it.
It's terrible, especially with the wire fraud. I can't imagine sending $150,000 through a wire and then it's gone.
Yes.
And the title company, I'm going to closing and I'm sitting there and they say, we didn't receive it. And I said, but I sent it. So it's really important that you call the person you've been talking to.
Yes.
Don't call a strange number or a strange email. I always pick up the phone and talk to them, or even better yet, go see them eyeball to eyeball and say, I need the wiring instructions for my closing tomorrow, and I need to know that this is the exact correct thing. Verify, and verify again on those wiring instructions.
Yes, definitely. I mean, I just spoke with someone yesterday, and she, being an agent, had just been involved where her buyer purchased the property and the sale almost closed. I mean, almost.
Well, what a sad situation.
Yes, and he would have lost his money. And, because you can't always get it back. So is what we do at Anchor Title is we vet our sellers and even our buyers through Closing Lock. It's a secure platform, and it verifies their identity. It gives us their location, where they're at. It shows us they have to do selfie pictures. We're able to compare it with the license, the photo ID that they give us. It is a really good system. And so that's what we do on all our clients. And that's how we send our wiring instructions.
That's great. And I noticed that some places require 2 forms of ID, and I guess which is an extra security point too.
Yes.
Why is it so important to be completely transparent with your title agency when you go to closing?
It is good to be transparent because it can postpone closing and possibly cancel closing. I had a transaction and the seller was not honest with either myself or the agent. And we were all blindsided when we found out that the home was about to be foreclosed on. So, it is really important that your sellers, when you're listing their home, that they tell you what's really going on. If they're going through a divorce, anything like that, we need to know it because it's very important and it can affect the title and it can cause a cloud on title.
So like Mama always said, be truthful and honest all the way around. You cannot go wrong by telling the truth.
That's right.
And, it is what it is. Life happens. And if you're in that situation, you just need to be honest and tell it.
Yes.
Well, tell us a little bit about Anchor Title. What kind of services do you all offer?
Residential real estate, but we do have 3 attorneys on staff. And they will set up LLCs, estates, trust. It's really nice having 3 attorneys on staff to be able to call at any moment and ask them a question, send them an email. I do believe that it makes everything more streamlined. And, just being able to have someone there with the knowledge that they have helps me to sleep at night.
Right. It's kind of like having a good, experienced real estate agent, having a good, experienced attorney that has seen it all and can help you through all the issues that come up.
Yes.
Because unfortunately, like I said, we don't live in a perfect world.
That's right.
When these issues come up and you've got a great team around you to help clear it up, it just helps it run easier all the way around and to get the job done. Traci, thank you so much for joining me today.
Yes.
It has been a pleasure, and I look forward to doing it again.
Yes, that sounds great. Thank you so much.
As always, I like to leave you with some mama wisdom and inspiration. A simple yet powerful reminder. A house is so much more than a transaction. It's a blessing. It's easy to get caught up in the numbers, the paperwork, all the stress of the process. But don't lose sight of what a home truly represents. When you walk through the front door of a house that's yours, you're stepping into a space where your life will unfold. It's the place where your mornings will begin, where you'll return to rest after a long day, and where you'll celebrate the little and big moments in life. Think about this. A house isn't just about square footage or curb appeal. It's where you'll write your story. Well, that's a wrap. Follow the show for new episodes every week. Don't forget to leave a review, rating, or comment on your favorite podcast platform. Feel free to send me an email to jan@yourrealestatemama.com. I love hearing your questions and comments, and I'd be happy to help you find a great real estate agent anywhere you live. Be sure to follow me on Facebook at Your Real Estate Mama Podcast. Until next time, y'all take care. Happy house hunting, and remember, you should always listen to your mama.